Welcome to the class. Today's class is I designed it for us to get in touch with our emotions. So this is something I've been working on in the last couple months, even before what's going on in the world. I just felt like I was a little out of touch with my emotions. And that I don't have a healthy relationship with them. So I really am trying to dig deep to find that healthy relationship so that I may relate with other people in a more healthy way. So what is an emotion? Let's start there. The best description that I have heard of emotion is that it's energy in motion. So I think that's awesome. Something happens in your environment. You feel this energy in your body, an emotion. Maybe it's joy, maybe it's anger, whatever. And you feel it somewhere in your body, and then you express it in your face, you express it with your body language, you express it with your words. And if we have healthy relationships with our emotions, they move through, okay? They don't get stuck. So it comes, it moves, and life goes on. And something else comes up, energy arises, we feel it, we express it, we move on. I find that what happens in most society today is that we repress a lot of our emotion. So, and then it gets stuck in the body. It gets stuck. Maybe we carry that emotion in our shoulders, maybe in our stomach, our hips, my jaw. That's a big one for me. So you are going to just use this time to really support yourself and see what is, okay? See what arises in your body as you do this practice, and then take these tools that we're learning off of your mat into your life, and see if you can start getting in touch with your emotions and responding to our environment instead of reacting. Okay, so I want you to get started lying down on your backs. Good, so lying down in a comfortable position for you. So I may or may not be doing the whole class with you. I'm going to be demonstrating sometimes, and I'm just going to be talking you through it at other times. So start to lie down and feel the connection with the earth. You take a baseline. So baseline is checking in with ourselves. Can I feel that subtle weight at the back of my head? My shoulder blades connected to the earth. Do I need to shimmy the shoulder blades down? Subtle weight at the back of your pelvis, both heels nice and heavy, connected to the earth. And start to take your awareness up to your mind. What kind of thoughts have you brought with you to your mat today? Notice the quality of your thoughts. Notice the quantity of your thoughts. Are they useful? Is there anything that you want to set aside? Then check in with your mood, your energy. What kind of energy are you feeling in your body today, right now? Do you have any areas of tension? Maybe you feel tension in your jaw. Maybe you're holding your stomach in. Just start to become aware. Is this a habitual pattern? Do I habitually hold tension or locked energy in these areas of my body? Do I have injury? Or is this just something new for today? Now that you've got a sense of how you're feeling physically, mentally, I want you to check in with your breath. How is that affecting your breath? Bringing awareness to the breath. You don't need to change or override your breath. Just check in with it. How available is the breath to you? Breathing in and out through your nostrils if that's available. If you invite your belly to soften, does that help the breath go a little deeper? Okay, so I find we're really trained to hold our bellies in, but you don't need to use your muscles in your belly right now. We're lying down in a way that's relaxed for our body. Maybe legs are long or knees are bent. You can let that belly soften. And as you soften your belly, notice if any emotion comes up. There's too much belly there. I don't want to soften it. Whatever it is, just be with it. Good. So inviting this curiosity of the physical sensations in our body, we're holding space for ourselves. That's our intention today. So feel free to just maybe say that to yourself. I'm here to support myself. I am open to whatever arises. And I want you to place one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly, so you can feel that wave of breath entering and exiting the body. We're going to do a quick little visualization before we start moving through our asanas. So having done that baseline, you have an idea of what your experience is right now. And I want you to remember a time in the last 24 hours that you felt most like yourself. Okay, where you felt like the person you want to be. And if you can't remember in the last 24 hours, that's okay. You're here to support yourself. You might need to stretch that time further back. Maybe you haven't felt like yourself for a couple days, a month, whatever, but remember a time when you felt your very best. And start to bring that up in detail. Where were you? Who were you with? What were you doing? Write down to every little detail. Can you remember what you were wearing? And as you remember that sense of being connected to your true self, I want you to check in with your body and notice what your experience is now. How do you come into contact with the floor? How do you feel in your physical body? Notice the quality and the quantity of your thoughts. And how available is the breath to you? Good, and from this space, let's take a full body stretch. Let's start to come into the body and start to move the body. Sweep your arms overhead. If your knees are bent, you're gonna slide your legs long. Just like you're lying in bed, this is gonna look different for everybody. I just want you to move around and stretch your body, full body stretch. You might be interlacing fingers, rolling palms open away from you. Maybe you're opening and closing your fists. Maybe you're rocking your head side to side. Maybe you're doing ankle circles or pointing and flexing the feet. And I really want you to get into your face. I want you to stretch your face out as well. I want you to open your mouth like you're yawning or you're smiling. Maybe let yourself frown a little bit. Get into those expressors of your face. That's where we express our emotion. Yeah. Good. And when that feels complete, I want you to hug your knees to your chest. Good. Taking the knees to the chest. And let your knees fall a little wide and just let yourself rock a little side to side. Hands can be over your shins, or maybe your hands are behind your knees. So especially if you have a sensitive knee, behind the thighs feels better. Good. Saying hello to that lower back, waking up. And then keep your knees drawing to your chest and take your arms out like a T. So your arms are spreading out wide, your chest is open. You can have palms up or palms down, or you might want to take your cactus arms. And we're going to start to move our knees side to side. So just start with little micro movements. Taking your knees over to one side. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, take your knees to the other side. Okay, so just starting to wake up that area of the lower back. We're getting connected with our core. We're getting connected, synchronizing to breath. And your feet are off the ground. Your knees are towards your body. So if you're just doing windshield wiper, take your knees up towards your chest. And feel that core power as you take your knees almost all the way over to the earth on one side. And then you inhale, come back through center, exhale to the other side. And try to find some counterbalance where when your knees go to one side, you're pressing the opposite shoulder or hand into the earth to find support. And these movements get to be as quick or as slow as you need them to be. Good, and then come through center, give yourself a little hug, hands either behind your thighs or over your shins. Take your nose up towards your knees and give yourself a little squeeze, a little hug. Tell yourself something nice. And then lower your head down to the earth. Take the soles of the feet down to the earth. And let your feet be about hip distance apart, and your thighs are parallel. We're going to take our arms up to the sky. So fingertips pointing to the sky, palms facing one another, shoulder blades connected to the earth. If you need to shimmy your shoulder blades down so that those little angel wings connect to the earth, you can do that. We're going to play with our shoulders. On your next inhale, I want you to reach your left fingertips up to the sky. I want you to lift that shoulder blade off the earth. And on the exhale, I'll lower it down. Next inhale, you're going to lift right fingertips up, lifting left scapula, and then lower it down. And continue to do that movement at your own pace. Synchronized movement to your breath, alternating lifting one shoulder blade and lowering it down, and then the other. And try tucking your chin slightly towards your heart so you're not collapsing in the back of the neck. You've got lots of space for the back of the neck. And we tend to hold a lot of locked emotion in our shoulders, and especially those little knots under our shoulder blades. We're going to try to get into that. Good. Let that go for a second. Place your hands onto your belly. Let your belly soften. Let your body absorb that information. Good. Let's try it again. Take arms up to the sky, palms facing one another, fingertips to the sky. This time you're going to lift one shoulder blade, and I want you to reach the hand slightly across the body. It doesn't have to be a big movement. And then bring it back to center, lower the shoulder blade. So lift the fingertips, reach them slightly across the body, and then bring them back through center, lower shoulder blade. So start to play with that movement of lifting the shoulder blade and then reaching across your body. You can look at me if you're not understanding. You can look at the video, see what I'm doing. And see if you can start to involve more of your body. So reach the fingertips up and watch the fingertips with your hands. So start to move your head along with it. Our pelvis is secure, it's not moving. But I'm starting to look at my fingertips, roll my head, so I can get this sensation of a twist in my whole upper body. Beautiful. Good. Whenever that feels complete, I want you to let it go, and I just want you to give yourself a little hug. So wrap your arms around yourself, and you might have the hands on the tops of the shoulders, just gently massaging your trapezius, the shoulders, or maybe you can reach all the way behind you and get your fingertips behind your scapula. Okay, so a little self-hug, a little bit of containment. And notice which arm you chose to have on top. That might be a habitual pattern. And let's reverse that hug. Let's take the other arm on top. Give yourself that nice little self-embrace. And you're gonna know what kind of hug you need, right? So you take maybe a tight squeeze, maybe you need a little bit looser hug to feel good, to feel supported. And this is a tool that can be very useful, this sense of hugging ourselves, containing when emotions feel too big. Sometimes we need to just reel it in for a second before we explode. Being at home with a toddler all day long, I do this. Good. All right, let that go. Just shake out your hands, shake out your arms, and interlace your fingers. Roll your palms away from you. So you're stretching your arms up towards the sky. You're stretching through the open palms, and take your arms overhead. Open up through the chest and the armpits. And on an exhale, let's lower the arms down by the knees, pressing through those palms. If you want to come right up, lift your head and your shoulder blades into a little abdominal control, you can do that. And then lowering back down, we're going to take the hands to the back of the head. You're going to extend your thumbs long so you have your little neck hammock, cupping the back of the head to support it. And we're going to close the elbows towards the sky and lift the head up using the effort of the hands. So you're not using any effort in your neck. I want you to support your head with your hands. So it's just a little bit up. We're finding some traction for our neck, elbows to the sky, and find any movement that serves you. So maybe you want to start to gently move your hands a little side to side, moving the head, moving the neck very gently. Maybe you're slightly turning the head. Maybe you're just enjoying that sense of weightlessness in the neck and the head pulling, ever so slightly lengthening. Oh, this feels so nice. Tuck your chin slightly towards your heart. Lots of space. Maybe you're massaging the back of the neck with your thumbs. And then lay the head down onto the mat. And we're gonna start to slowly roll to one side, help ourselves up to seated. So make your way to an easy seated pose, whatever that means for your body. Okay, so you might be grabbing the fleshy bits and pulling them back and away. So grab all that goodness, connect to the earth. Okay, through the sits bones, and then rise up through the spine. And check in with your shoulders. So are we collapsing or kind of protecting ourselves in the heart? Can we start to broaden through the collarbone? Drop the shoulder blades down, reach up through the crown of the head, and let your hands rest wherever's comfortable. Hands can be on the knees, they can be in the lap. Our next exercise is going to be with sound. So you guys are all muted, lucky you guys. You can hear me, so this is going to be maybe a little more activating for me. So we're going to do an exercise that helps get us in touch with our emotions. It helps to connect us to the vagus nerve, which is a big nerve in our parasympathetic nervous system. So when we're doing this, we might be activating that the sympathetic nervous system, kind of feeling a little bit on, a little bit unsure. But afterwards, the effect, we should come into that parasympathetic nervous system and feel really nice and connected and just in touch with our body. Okay, so the technique is we're going to inhale and exhale the syllable Voo, V-O-O. And you want this to sound like a foghorn. You want this to be as low and with as much vibration as you can get it. So obviously we're making the sound from our vocal cords, but you want to feel this vibration as low as you can. Yeah, this is going to be fun for me to do for you guys. So it sounds like that foghorn. I'll demonstrate it first, and then I want you guys to try it at home. And you may or may not have people there listening to you, so try it. Kids love this, by the way, if you have kids there. So you inhale through the nose, and on your exhale, you find that deep Voo. And just sit with it for a second. Notice how it feels. Okay, let's do a couple more back to back. So on the inhale, breathe in through the nose. On the exhale, you're going to Voo. Voo. Let yourself notice any tingly energy, maybe in your arms. Notice if that woke anything up. Maybe the dog or the sleeping cat. Good, so that's a great technique. If you're ever feeling stuck, you have energy that's stuck, to just get it moving. We're gonna do another version of that, and it's also with sound. So sometimes making these sounds, we don't feel safe making sound, some of us, right? We grew up thinking, oh, I need to be quiet, but just play with this if you can find a safe spot to do this, in your car, in your shower. Just start playing with this more often. So now we're going to add on to the Voo. We're going to add an Ah, Voo Ah. And this is for getting in touch with anger. So that lovely emotion, anger. And this is less about the vibration of the Voo, and this is more about expression in our face, the Ah. So we're gonna Voo, and then we're gonna Ah, open up the jaw. You're gonna like Ah, stick out your tongue. You're gonna growl a little. Ah. We're gonna get into some fun. I love the dogs liking this. Let's get into that energy. So again, same principle. We're going to inhale and then Voo Ah. Do it a couple times at your own pace. Voo Ah. And then let yourself just sit in that afterglow. Just support whatever comes up. What do you feel in your body? There's no right or wrong answer here. Good. So I'm feeling a little bit more online in my body. So let's move into all fours, hands and knees. Most of the sound practices are over. Don't worry, we still have one more. But let's come onto hands and knees. We're going to do cat-cow. So take care of your body. If you need to add extra cushion under your knees, you could fold up the center of your mat. If you need extra cushion under the heels of the hands to just support the angle of your wrists that feels good, you can try walking your hands one palm grid to head, or add a rolled up towel under the heels of your hands. And lift up away from the earth. So notice if you're collapsing through your lower back and down to the earth, we want to slightly engage our belly and just find a nice neutral spine. On the inhale, you're gonna drop your belly, let it be soft. Open your heart, look up. On the exhale, you're gonna tuck your tailbone, round your spine, bring your gaze to your navel. And start to flow back and forth at your own pace. And synchronizing movement and breath. Getting into all those little tight spots in our spine, our shoulder, our neck, our chest. And feel free to veer off the train track a little bit. So if you want to move a little side to side or some circles. Good. Letting that be. We're gonna come up to standing. So if you want to get there doing a downward facing dog, you could just go into down dog for a couple breaths and maybe walk out your legs. If that's not going to be available for your wrists, then I want you to walk your hands back, curl your toes into the mat, and then start to come up through ragdoll, not using down dog. We want our feet hip distance apart once we make our way into ragdoll. So if you're in down dog, you're going to walk your feet towards your hands. Good, nice healthy hip distance apart with the feet, and I want you to bend your knees, so no locked straight knees. Bend your knees so you can fold at your hips and shift your weight into your heels. Let your head relax. Maybe you want to clasp your arms and find a little gentle sway. And I want you to imagine just letting any emotion or stress roll right off your back. Okay, it just rolls off your back, it rolls off your neck. Let your head relax, give a little gentle yes, a little gentle no, shake your head out, do some circles with the head. Let go of tension in the neck and shoulders. Maybe you can relax your jaw a little bit. Ah. Maybe you want to do some Voo Ahs. Good. Let's prepare to come up. And you're going to take your hands up to your hips. And you're deeply going to bend your knees. Come up to a flat back position. We're using that core to support ourselves. Flat back. Lengthen your whole spine. Hello, core. And then use the power of the legs. Root down through the ball of the big toe and lift up through the back of the heart. Nice straight back coming all the way up. Okay, coming up to standing in Tadasana. So finding our feet hip distance apart, right underneath of your hip bones. And feel your head line up over your heart over your heels. So notice if you're shifting your weight towards the balls of the feet, I want you to shift the weight towards the heels ever so slightly. Four corners of the feet supporting us. Good. We're gonna cross the left leg over the right. I'm mirroring you guys. And notice if you're dumping all of your weight into one hip. I want you to find this upward lift through the body. Hips are even. We're squeezing our inner thighs together. And we're gonna lift the arms up on an inhale. Get a hold of your left wrist and dive on over to the right. Okay, let your shoulders relax down out of your ears. Open left side body. Beautiful. Breathing into that nice stretch. You can have eyes open. We are using some balance here. Good. Inhale coming up. Take your arms out to the sides. And we're going to take left arm under right. And we're going to give ourselves that nice little self hug. You can massage the tops of your shoulders or the back. Reach around so you can get into that little edge of your scapula. And if you want to try to take eagle arms, you're going to wrap your forearms. Maybe they just come this far, backs of the hands towards one another. Maybe you get the full wrap where you can get your palms to touch. Okay, so left arm is under, wrapping, and maybe we get there. And if you don't get there, that's okay. And you can play with it. If you want to sink back into your full eagle, you're going to draw the weight back and down. You may or may not lift those top toes. They can stay on the earth for support. Or you might challenge your balance by trying to lift your left toes off the earth. Good. If you want to play with lifting your elbows slightly, sinking down a little deeper, you're going to find more power, more strength. Good. We got to use our peripheral vision here to balance. Good. Let's unwind out of eagle, take it out, soar out, and shake it off. So come back into your mountain posture and settle in. Feel the connection of feet on earth. Feel this rebound energy coming up through your body, holding you tall and open. Maybe rotate your palms forward, fingers stretching wide. Okay, receiving. All right, let's do that sequence on the other side. We're going to cross right foot over left. Feel the connection to the earth and start to glue those inner thighs together. Notice if you're dumping the weight into one hip, try to even the hips out. Reach the arms up. Take a nice big inhale. Get a hold of your right wrist and then dive on over to the left. Let the shoulders melt down out of the ears. Breathing into right side body. Letting your gaze be wherever's comfortable. If you want to look down, does that feel better for your neck? Does it look better to look up, straight ahead? And find what works for you. Good, let's use that inhale to come up. Exhale, take your arms out to the sides, right arm underneath. Taking that self-hug, pausing here for a moment, tell yourself something nice, supporting whatever is. you want to wrap the arms for eagle and start to wrap your forearms. Either backs of the hands come together or maybe the full wrap, palms together. And then you can start to sink back and down. It's like you're sitting into an imaginary chair. Okay, we're really rooted through the left foot, connecting. The right toes might be on the earth. You might want to start to lift those toes for a challenge. And you can play with lifting your elbows for deeper sensation. Good. Are you still breathing? Let's unwind. Stretch it out. Come out of eagle, sort it out, shake it out. Just throw a little tantrum, shake it off. Blech. Good, and then settle back into that strong, steady mountain posture. Feet hip distance apart, heart open. Whoa, feel that beautiful tingly energy in your fingertips. Okay, circulation of blood, prana, life force. Good, opening the eyes. The next practice that we're going to do is called the breath of joy. So this involves some sound. I want you to open your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, maybe as wide as your mat, so that you have a nice stable base. And we're going to soften up the knees. We don't want to lock the knees. So I'll demonstrate first. The breath of joy is also a great way to get us unstuck, to just move emotion or energy through. And what it is it's a series of 3 quick inhales with some arm motions, and then a big exhale with sound, ha. So the breath is like this. I inhale through the nose 3 times, and then I exhale, ha. If you only want to do that, you can. If you have high blood pressure, or if you have any sort of head or eye injury, I suggest that that's all you do. And if you don't have a head or eye injury, so you don't suffer from migraines, then feel free to do the arm movements as well. So that it would look like this. We take our arms up on an inhale, out, up, and then exhale, ha. So it's in, up, out, up, down. We fold right at the hip. So let's do that together. Breath and movement. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Start your inhales. Ha. Ha. One more. Ha. All right, come up. If you feel dizzy, take an exhale through an O mouth. Close your eyes for a second. Just want you to feel the echo of that sequence. And notice your experience now in your body, the quality of your thoughts, your heart rate. Good. What a great way to get energy moving. So let's come down back onto the mat. We're going to get into our hips. So hips are an area where we can lock and store a lot of emotion. We're going to come right down onto our back. So you can get there however you can in a nice supportive way. Maybe you use a little bit of abdominal control to lie down. Lying down onto your back, you're going to have your knees bent to start, and take a minute to just take your hands to your belly, connect to your center. See if you can let your jaw relax. We're gonna come into reverse pigeon. So taking your right ankle and placing it onto your left thigh. So it's just above your knee. And before we go deeper, just check in here. Check in with the felt sensation. Is our body inviting us deeper, or is it happy here? Okay, so if you want to take it deeper, you could try to energetically just send your right knee away from you. And feel that engagement around the hip, the inner thigh. And if that's not deep enough, you could lift your left foot off the mat and clasp your hands behind your left thigh. Anytime you're playing with your hips, you want to make sure that you don't feel any tension in your knee. Okay, zero tolerance for knee tension. So we want to feel this in our hip, in our inner thigh, maybe across our bum, maybe in the lower back, but no tweaking in the knee. A good way to stabilize the knee is flexing your right foot. Okay, let's take an inhale here. If you want to take it even deeper than this, you could exhale, take your nose up towards your left knee. Draw your left leg towards you as you think about energetically taking right knee away from you. Breathe into wherever you feel this. Good. Start to lower your head. Lower your left foot to the earth. And we're going to keep our right ankle where it is. We're going to come into a twist. So before we twist our body, I want you to shift your hips slightly to the right side of your mat. And then you're going to twist your hips towards the left. Okay, so you might need to look at me. But your right sole of the foot is going to come down towards your left hip, down towards the earth. Okay, so we just added a little twist to that thread the needle move. If you want to add on to that, you can inhale, right arm overhead. Expand and open that right side. Energetically send a little bit of weight down through your right hip as you reach up through the fingertips, opening up through the chest and the armpit. Maybe you want to turn your head slightly to the right, leaning the temple into your upper right arm. You're breathing into it. On your next inhale, you're going to take your gaze to center, lower right arm, and start to tip your hips back to neutral. So adjust your spine down the center of your mat again, and take both feet to the earth as wide as your mat, and windshield wiper your legs. Let your knees tip one side and then the other, and just feel the quality of the movement on the right side compared to the left. Tapping into sensations in our body. Come back to center, walk your feet hip distance apart. And take a moment just to connect to your center. Place your palms on your belly. Let your belly soften, let your jaw soften. Okay, zero expectations for this side. Let's go in with an open mind. We're going to take our left ankle, place it onto the right thigh, just above the knee, flex the left foot, shine some love and brightness through the sole of the foot. Okay, before we rush deeper, notice your patterns. Do you have this tendency to, I know where I'm going, I'm just going to go there? And start to become aware of these certain patterns, habitual movements that we have, and we start to choose differently, especially if it's something that doesn't serve us. Good. So energetically start to think about sending your left knee away from you, and feel that deeper opening in the left hip, maybe the inner thigh. And when you're ready, you can start to explore going deeper. Maybe you lift the right foot off of the earth, clasp the hands behind the right thigh. I like to wiggle a little side to side. You're just going to find what feels right and good for you. And as you're drawing your right thigh towards your body, you're energetically sending the left knee away, foot nice and open. And check in with your chin. Does your chin feel like it's riding higher than your forehead? Did you tuck the chin slightly, grow the back of the neck long, press through the back of the head? How does that change what you're feeling in your body? Good. If you want to take it even deeper than this, you can inhale, lengthen spine, exhale, start to draw belly button towards the spine. Nose comes up towards the right knee as you draw that right leg in. Shoulders relaxed. Good. Keep breathing. Exhale. Let's lower the head down. Start to come out of this by releasing right foot to the earth. You're going to keep left ankle where it is. Coming into that twist, we're going to shift the hips over to the left side of the mat first. And then we're going to start to twist our hips to the right. So the left sole of the foot comes down towards the earth. We're all different. We all have a different degree of openness in our hips. You just take it to where it feels right for you. Good. On an inhale, try sweeping your left arm overhead. Then tack a little bit of weight down through that left hip. So you're moving and stretching in two different directions through the left side of the body. Maybe you want to turn your head ever so slightly towards the left, maybe leaning your temple into the support of that extended arm. And with each exhale, see if you can soften and allow yourself to release into this pose. On your inhale, you might back out a little bit. You'll feel that buoyancy, that lift. Okay, before we come out of this one, I want you to add one more thing. I want you to lift the corners of your mouth. Find a little smile, the cherry on top. Okay, let's start to bring our gaze through center, lower left arm down. Start to slowly gather yourself, coming out of your twist. Bring both soles of the feet to the earth as wide as your mat. Spine down the center of your mat. Make any adjustments and then start to windshield wiper your legs side to side. Notice the quality of the movement, the left side, the right side. And then bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and you're going to have your heels close to your bum, hip distance apart. We're preparing for a gentle inversion bridge. Knees pointing to the sky. We're going to take arms down alongside our body, palms touching the earth. And before we come up, I want you to check in with that chin. Notice if it's popping high. We want to tuck the chin ever so slightly to the heart. And then press into the support of the feet. Lift your hips up towards the sky. You just come up as high as feels good for your body. We're not letting our knees splay open, so we're using those adductors. We're using our inner thighs. Imagine that you're squeezing a little foam block in between your legs. Knees tracking over ankles. And start to notice the sensations in your body as you come into this pose and we hold it. What comes up? Does any energy or emotion come up around this posture? Can you feel a flush come into your face? So this is an active reversal of blood and inversion. So good for our memory, our complexion, our concentration, our immune system. You might feel that heat start to flush your cheeks. Good, preparing to come down, I want you to come up high onto the balls of the feet. Lift your heels. And on an exhale, enjoy slowly coming down one vertebrae at a time. Eventually your sacrum, your lower back connects to the earth. You're gonna hug the knees into the body. And give yourself a little squeeze, take your nose up towards your knees. Tell yourself something nice. And then lower your head back to the earth and start to let yourself spread out onto your mat into our final resting pose, Shavasana. If you need to modify and have your knees bent, please take care of your body. I want you to be comfortable. So adjust, make any little wiggles that you need to do. Walk your shoulder blades underneath your body. Adjust your pelvis. Maybe let your feet, if your legs are long, just let them flop in and out a couple times, loosening up through the legs and the hips. Tuck your chin towards your heart. Let your arms lie wherever's comfortable. They might be away from your body, palms up, fingers naturally curling. Or it might feel more supportive for you to have your palms on your lower belly. And start to close your eyes. And start to notice how you come into contact with the earth. What parts of your body connect to the earth? What parts of your body gently curve away from the earth? Scanning your body, noticing if there's any residual tension, maybe in a habitual area. Can you just ask that area to soften? I like to use the image of an ice cube, my body as an ice cube, and as I start to relax, I just let my body melt. Let it become liquid, let it spread out. Start to slowly gather your awareness, bringing it back to your breath. I don't know if you can hear the waves in the background, but you could take some inspiration from those waves, invite a slightly deeper breath into the body. Feeling the rise and fall of your belly, your chest. Start to take some gentle movement, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, maybe rocking your head side to side. If your eyes are still closed, you could open your eyes and take in your surroundings. And then let yourself roll over to one side, whatever side feels more natural. Make a little pillow with your bottom arm, support your head, and just let yourself settle in fetal position for a couple breaths. We want to integrate slowly back into our day. We want the yoga practice to spill off our mat. We want it to come into our daily life. Good. When you feel ready, you can start to help yourself up. You can extend your top leg long. You can press your hands into the earth. Nice and slow, make your way to seated. Good. Finding your easy seated pose. Let's end our practice together, placing our palms in front of our hearts. We start to open up the chest, relax the shoulders, start to relax the head down towards the heart. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I honor you. Namaste.